India's permanent envoy to the United Nations, T.S. Tirumurti, has said that Prime Minister Modi's speech at the 76th session of the UNGA is the most awaited amongst world leaders. Prime Minister Modi will address the UN General Assembly on the 25th of September. The COVID crisis, vaccine equity and economic challenges related to the pandemic are high on agenda at the UNGA session. Tirumurti has also suggested that India would take a strong stand against terrorism on the global stage.
Thank you very much for having me in your program. The 76th session of the UNGA, as you know, is officially commenced from the 14th of September, and the high-level week, in fact, is starting tomorrow. Of course, as you're aware, this is far from a normal UNGA session. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic continues to cast a shadow on this important annual gathering of world leaders. The slight improvement in the pandemic situation in the US and also the vaccination measures which has been undertaken. This has allowed the UN to organize the 76th UNGA in a hybrid format. Apart from COVID-19 pandemic and its humanitarian impact, other issues may also dominate the 76th UNGA. The global economic slowdown and the financing for development, for example, terrorism and related issues, climate change, the ongoing conflicts internationally, recent developments in Afghanistan, the UN Security Council reform, etc. These are likely to come up in the 76th UNGA. And this UNGA is an important occasion for India as well, for many reasons. There is an expectation that India, as the leading voice of the developing world, as well as a member of the UN Security Council, will use its voice to take up global issues such as climate change, sustainable development goals, equitable and affordable access to vaccines, poverty eradication and economic recovery, women's empowerment and their participation in governance structures, terrorism, peacekeeping and peace building, UN Security Council reforms, etc. And we have done so before, and we will continue to do so. And as you know, the Prime Minister is scheduled to address the general debate of the high-level segment of the 76th section of the UNGA on the 25th September morning. The theme for this year's general debate is building resilience through hope to recover from COVID-19, rebuild sustainably, respond to the needs of the planet, respect the rights of the people, and revitalize the United Nations. And as I mentioned before, PM's speech at the UNGA is probably one of the most awaited among the world leaders. Well, what he decides to say is really his prerogative, and I don't want to second guess this. Prime Minister has always addressed some of the core issues confronting the world, and those of importance and concern to us in India, and also including some of our achievements on the domestic front. So this is broadly what I think will be like a background to the UNGA.
And fighting COVID?
No, I agree with you. I mean, I think the fight against COVID-19 is going to be an extremely important issue on the agenda, not just for the high-level week, but also, I suppose, when we go forward. And as I mentioned, one of the themes for this year's general debate is building resilience through hope to recover from COVID-19. And many developing countries which have not had adequate access to the vaccines are naturally extremely concerned about what are we going to do next. And in this, you're aware that India has been at the forefront in fighting against the pandemic, be it through our national efforts or through multilateral and plurilateral cooperation. And we will definitely reinforce the several initiatives which we have taken to ensure vaccine equity and also to ensure access and availability of vaccines for developing countries, which have not yet been brought into the ambit of vaccine distribution. And as you are already aware again, Prime Minister has also made available our CoWIN digital platform as a global good to the international community. I think these are some of the highlights which we will be taking up with the international community when it comes up in the UNGA.